Cheers! Welcome to Movie Bitches, episode 141. Tonight we're reviewing Get Out! That was an intense scene.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
actually get out. It was like, whoa.
That brings me to my biggest gripe with this movie. I think they showed way too much stuff in the trailer.
Sure. Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit, I already saw this. All the sort of scariest parts, and not the scariest parts, but like a lot of the big...
Yeah, like, oh.
What? Were in the trailer. And
I agree.
It bummed me out.
Yeah.
So, the new written and directed by Jordan Peele thriller, horror, comedy, genre-bending movie that I really liked.
I really liked it too. So I will say this.
Yeah.
I walked out of the theater and I was like, I really liked that movie. And then I started to think about it, and I had a lot of holes. And there was a lot of stuff that it's like, that doesn't make sense.
You know what's weird? I had the exact opposite reaction.
Really?
I didn't hate it leaving the theater, but I was watching it the whole time like, oh, that'll eventually make sense. Oh, it didn't. Oh, shit. And I left the theater being like, that was good. I wish it was better. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, wait, no, I really liked it just for what it was.
I mean, I liked it for what it was,
Yeah,
I was entertained. I enjoyed it. I thought it had a good message. I thought the acting was good. I thought it was well directed and produced, etc., etc.
Yeah.
All of that, yes. But I just kept being like, but why? But wait, that doesn't...
I guess my biggest problem, I would say, with the whole thing is it wrapped up too quick.
Right?
Maybe this is just my expectations. I wanted it to be a little more horror. And the horror really just kind of happened... The actual horror was really fast at the end, and it was like, it's over. And I was like, oh no, I wanted to get into the minutia of the plan and what was really going on. I was like, ooh, just set that table and lay it out for me. And then it was like, oh, it's over.
So, should we get into it?
Yeah, we should talk about it.
I guess, spoiler alert. I mean, we're not there yet per se, so we'll do another spoiler alert.
If you've seen the trailer, you kind of know what happened. But I would say go see it.
Yeah, I would definitely say go see it.
It's not too scary.
No, because I was a little nervous, but it wasn't. I mean, there were a few moments. There was some popping out of stuff where I really hate when things pop out of places. First question.
Yeah.
What was the deal with the deer?
Foreboding? I don't think that happens every time.
Okay, well, I
think that was a weird thing that happened that was just let's build tension.
So you think it was just coincidental?
Yeah, kind of.
So here's what I can't figure out.
Uh-huh.
Because there was a few things. So first of all, that Lincoln is bulletproof. Because there was not a dent nor a scratch.
They would be dead. At least one of them.
The windshield didn't break?
Well, I think what they were trying to imply was that they clipped it. Because the side mirror is broken off. And I think that was what they were trying to...
But wasn't it the driver's side mirror?
No, it was his side. But
okay.
I think what they were implying was they clipped it on the side. It didn't full on hit. But the way it's shot is confusing.
It seemed like it was like a chicken thrown across the windshield.
Yeah, it seems like it straight up hits the windshield. But then when they show it, it's like, oh, it just sort of...
Okay. Because then my thought was, well, was this planned? Did they plant it?
What do you mean? It was just they drugged the deer?
Or so, I don't know.
No.
But because then I was like, well, was it a psychological game? Because we find out later that his mom was killed in a car accident and died on the side of the road. And
his whole thing is that he couldn't act. He couldn't do anything about it. He just sat there frozen.
It was just one of those weird things. And
it's a bad omen. Well, that's a bad omen.
Sure, but that's such a trope. And then did you ever see The Invitation?
What's that?
It was a real big thing. Everyone was talking about it. I hated it.
I've literally never heard of this movie. And that's odd.
That is odd.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, it's basically this movie, but instead of being black, he's the ex-husband who was gone or whatever, and he comes back to a dinner party. Of course, his car hits a deer or whatever on the way. It's the same trope. That's a trope.
Well, I think that the clever thing that Jordan Peele did was he did use a lot of horror tropes.
Sure.
To his benefit, right?
Mostly.
Like, not to totally change the subject, but my favorite scene pretty much in the movie was the opening scene, where it takes this trope of a young, vulnerable girl walking on a darkened suburban street.
Sure.
But it's a young black man, and he's the vulnerable one. I don't know, I'm supposed to turn on Chestnut Street or whatever. It's like
suburbs.
A fucking suburb or whatever.
Terrifying.
Like, that was a great opening.
Sure.
The main guy, Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, he's really good.
Was fantastic.
Yeah.
He did so much with his eyes.
Right.
Because there was all this sort of casual or ignorant racism just sort of, just sprinkled in there, right? And just his looks of just like, oh, okay, we're doing this,
Yep. Oh, okay.
He's trying to be polite.
Yep.
He was telling a tale.
Yeah.
With just his
Which
face.
was really key.
And I was like, ooh, I'm into this.
Yeah.
Like, he was really good. He's in Sicario, which you have not seen
no,
still.
I've not. No.
And he's in a really, pretty good episode of Black Mirror.
Oh, okay. You know who else I thought was really good? Particularly because, remember Peter Pan?
Well, it's her feature film debut.
I thought she was good.
Allison Williams was really good at playing.
I think this is a good role for her.
It was perfect. It was like, oh yeah.
But I thought she was great, and spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure that she was in on it.
What?
Sorry.
I wish I could watch movies like that. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's not her first black boyfriend. I was like, no.
It took me a long time to catch on to what was going on.
Good.
But that was partially because I'm still confused as to entirely
hung up on that
was...
deer?
God damn it, I'm not going to let this deer up. No, but I'm not quite sure exactly what was going on.
Sure.
Okay, so here's my big question.
You can break it down.
Why was there an auction?
I don't know. Why was it bingo, which seemed to be random chance? That was my question.
Was it bingo or was it the facade of bingo and those were their bidding cards?
Okay, maybe. Okay.
I think those were their bidding cards, but here's what I wanted to know.
Well, I know why, but...
Well, why?
Because Stephen Root wanted to see through the eyes of a photographer.
Right, but he was the only one that had a problem. The others didn't seem to be...
I had a lot of questions about the end. Do you want to just talk about it?
Sure.
Okay, so...
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. He goes to their house for the weekend. Things start off and they're just a little bit weird.
Okay.
And then her brother shows up and they're a lot of bit weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this? What's happening? And, it slowly gets weirder and weirder, and you're like, get out of the house! And they've got these two servants who are acting weird. Turns out these people are taking the brains of the rich white people and putting them into the young black people's heads, mainly men, and they're basically living in their bodies. Yeah. Okay, so we find out, spoiler alert, that the two servants working at their house are Bradley Cooper's white parents that have been put into his brain.
Bradley Cooper?
Not Bradley Cooper. Did I say Bradley Cooper? Bradley Whitford.
I was like, huh?
You're like, wait, what?
I was like, I know I don't know people, but who was Bradley Cooper?
Bradley Cooper? That's right! Didn't you know? It was just his voice acting. They're Bradley Whitford's parents.
Right.
My question is, what are they getting out of this deal?
Thank you. That was my biggest thing. Why are his parents their servants?
So then I thought, okay, is it just...
a facade?
While this guy's here for the weekend? That seems like a red flag that seems unnecessary. Just have them...
Be friends.
Be out of town.
Or be out of town.
Or be friends for the weekend. Are they their servants year-round? If so, what?
Right.
What's the point of that?
And then it, started to really, just fall apart for me. Because then there's the other guy that we see get abducted, right? Who becomes the sex slave.
Right. So what was that about?
I'm pretty sure he was... So her husband was put into this guy's body.
Did they just pick him out together as a couple? Was she like, I want that?
Right,
Or was he like, I want to be that?
Was he dying? Was it just like, oh, he's terminally ill, we're gonna take his brain and put it into this black guy that we could find?
That's what I would infer.
But so then, like, what's her goal? Why not just date the black guy or whatever? Like,
because it wouldn't be her husband.
But does she care? So the only one that actually made sense was
Stephen Root.
Yeah, who's blind and he wants. Well, it wasn't just his eyes, because I had the same thought. I was like, well, so why didn't...
I thought they were literally just going to take his eyes.
Well, because I was like, this guy is a neurosurgeon. Like, okay, he can just take... If he can do a brain transplant, why can't he do an eye transplant, right?
He needed a photographer's eyes?
So this is then what I went... He wanted... Remember, because he says, oh, I'm familiar with your work.
Well, because...
You have a great eye. So he wants to be able to see through his eyes?
I mean, it's getting into a gray area of, like, where does your soul and stuff... Which, sure. But then also the grandfather wanted to be a better runner.
Right.
And there's that
and so now he's like running at...
It was like, huh? By the end I was like, what, that's the plan? Like, somehow it was less nefarious. Than just being like, we're gonna brainwash you into being our slaves.
Right.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah.
This was like, what?
It was.
I was like, wait. Full-blown brain transplant? That's what's going on? And it was like wrapped up in 7 minutes. And I was like, wait, what?
Exactly. So then I was confused. Because it was like, what's his face? The blind art dealer.
Stephen Root.
Yeah, Stephen Root.
My stapler.
It was, oh my God. It seemed like
oh my God.
I'm gonna set the building on fire. They took my stapler.
Love me some Stephen Root.
Yes.
Sidebar.
So anyway, so did he pick out this guy?
That's what I didn't understand.
But if so, then why did they have an auction?
Well, and also, it seems like so basically Allison Williams like entraps these men and makes them fall in love with her and then takes them home one weekend.
She's a black widow.
And
sorry, that was really bad.
It's like kind of great though. It's so good. So she presumably has to pick people who don't have a lot of family or don't have a bunch of people who'd be looking for them, a certain type that would easily sort of
disappear,
be lifted out of their own lives. So that's why it was like unclear. Like, what's the criteria? Is Stephen Root like, you guys, I really need a photographer, and he's like putting in the whatever like a request, and then she's going out to like find.
That was not clear, but then also apparently her research is just to like find NBA players. Like that was weird. That whole Google scene.
That was kind of funny, but
it was funny. It was only there to be funny though. It wasn't there to like help.
I mean, maybe someone in town needs some NBA. I don't know. Well, it was also weird. There's like one throwaway line that's basically like, he's like, but why us? Why black people? And they're like, oh, because like it's cool to be black now.
Black is in fashion.
What?
Yeah.
So it wasn't racism the whole time? They were acting racist the whole time?
Right.
Huh?
That was what was weird to me too.
Was there a different era when they were like kidnapping Chinese people or something? Like what's going on?
Like I wanted it to be more terrifying. Where even if they were doing this brain transplant nonsense, whatever, or if it was just that they were like making them their slaves, which is like so like isn't that more of just like a statement?
I felt so, because the whole time I'm comparing this movie to The Stepford Wives. The original, we will not talk about the remake. Which, yes, is a more terrifying movie for me personally because I'm a woman. But there is this sense in that movie of a loss of identity and a betrayal by the husbands who have specifically said, we love you, but we don't love you this way. We're going to take your identity and make you an automaton. And the betrayal of that is just so upsetting, right? And so that's why I wanted them to kind of maybe stew in Allison Williams betraying him more. I did love Bradley Whitford and Catherine Keener though. Like I thought I thought he did a really good job of being that sort of like over-eager, like I voted for Obama. I'd vote for him for a third term. Like overly chatty, just like, he did a really good job.
He
and
did.
then she, I mean, for me, the most effective scenes were the hypnosis scenes, which were terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, that was insane. And it was shot so interestingly and so beautifully.
It was. Although the sunken place kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Really?
I don't know. It was just so Twilight Zone-y for me.
Oh, I liked it.
I liked it, but I also didn't like it.
Just
I don't know.
the whole, you know, with the noise.
Well, the noise and all of that. It was just when his body was like in this CG black space. You're like,
But then when he's looking up at the light, I don't know.
like that.
I thought it was like a good visual representation.
Absolutely.
Because in your mind, you're like, just get up! Or you're like, ah!
Right, sure.
And so I thought that was a good way to be like, no, he's like fucked. His frozen face crying was everything.
Yeah.
That was like, whew,
whoa.
Probably my favorite representation of hypnosis on film. I can't think of a better one.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I will say one silver lining of all of this. He's no longer a smoker.
He is no longer a smoker.
So there's that.
That's why I was like, also, is that a criteria for her picking people? Like, they need some sort of vice, that there'll be an excuse for Catherine Keener to hypnotize them? Like, because, like, if he wasn't a smoker,
then he wouldn't have gone out for a walk. But, like, she didn't do it. She didn't do it.
That's how they brought it up.
They brought up the hypnosis.
Yeah.
But she could have just done it without ever having brought up the hypnosis.
Again,
which I think would have been more terrifying.
If they're just sitting there and she's just making the noise, and then it's like, what's going on?
And she's like, come in, come talk to me.
Oh, what?
That would have been more terrifying.
If you didn't even, they didn't
you
even
didn't know.
mention
We didn't know that she did hypnosis. Like,
nothing.
Not all of a sudden. You think she's nice. She seems nice. The dad seems kind of weird, but she seems nice.
She seems pretty cool.
Allison Williams seems like, you know.
Oh, just like, hey, let's chat about my daughter in my study, and I will hypnotize you. And then it's just like, what the fuck? Wait. Yeah. That would have been good. And then she just gets up and is like, he's ready.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
Like, I guess what the frustration was that it was really good and it could have been super amazing for me if they had left out some stuff and focused a little bit more on others.
Yeah.
Like, why have the auction? Just, who cares? Or, like, why not have it just be that,
it didn't make sense.
He picked him.
It definitely seemed like Stephen Root handpicked him.
And then that's even crazier.
That's even more fucked up.
Right? Oh, I liked your eye, so I literally was like, no, I want to have that because I'm a rich fucking creepy old man.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Even if he has, early on, you have a scene of him doing a show and Stephen Root is there and he's just like, oh, I'm really, you know, I love your work, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Never, don't hear about it again. And then, oh, I'm just at this brunch.
Also, that would have been so good, though. Okay, I'm gonna rewrite this.
You can fix
just a little bit.
Great,
just a little
I'm excited about it.
So it starts off.
Opening scene, gallery.
Yep. And this blind, you know, art dealer comes up to him and is like, really, I'm like a really big fan of your work, whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And somehow he introduces her, and then he's kind of like a mentor, right? Like, you know, he like helps foster his career or whatever. Like, we don't need to see a lot of that.
No, but just, we're aware that
he's been a proponent of his.
Yes.
Because then, later on, when it turns out that he's hypnotized and, like, incapable of moving and they're about to, like, harvest his brain and give it to this guy, it's that much more of a betrayal that it's like, oh, fuck, this was a long con the whole time? The whole time? The whole time?
The whole time? I really needed that betrayal aspect.
Yeah.
Because that is what's so heartbreaking and upsetting in Stepford Wives, where it just turns this corner where you're like, because their husbands seem really like, you know, cool and like grooving. You're like, oh, I like that. Oh my god, right? It's just, oh god, and then that makes the ending so. I mean, like, oh, I love Stepford Wives. It's such a fucking good movie.
The original.
I mean, yes, always and forever. We're never talking about the remake. When I say Stepford Wives, that's what I'm talking about. So then it's like, she is completely being pimped out by her entire town, right? Because it's just like, oh, I'm, you know...
Or her family, or I guess she's being pimped out by her family for the town.
Because is it just her and her brother who are bringing people home?
He has his way. They said, like, there was that line, like, his way.
Well, he's the guy in the beginning.
Right, in the Porsche.
No, but I don't want to complain too much because I did.
No, I like this movie. I liked it.
I did really like it, and I did think it was very interesting, and I'm excited for Jordan Peele to make more movies.
Yeah.
I'm excited that it made a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
So on a whole, I mean, 80% of horror movies do absolutely fall apart in the last 10 minutes. Like, that's kind of a horror movie.
Wait, we haven't talked about his friend.
Oh my god!
He was...
Ron?
Yeah,
Roy?
I don't remember.
Roy?
Ron?
Ron?
I don't know. He was great.
Oh my god, his TSA friend. I totally forgot! I just love that he was us. Like, he's the audience. He's like...
Yeah. Bro, how you not scared of this, man? I don't know if you know this. White people love making people sex slaves and shit.
Dude, that sounds fucking weird. Get out of there. Like, he's just like, they're trying to hypnotize you. Sex slaves, it's happening. Get out of there. And I was like, yes! Call an Uber!
So, I don't know. I would say definitely go see it. Like,
Yeah.
it's a good... It was a fun...
It was fun.
I guess it was fun. It was
I had fun.
right?
I mean, if people in the theater were like yelling at the screen. My theater, people were like, get out of there! They were just like... She is crazy.
She played a good actress, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because then later when she's like, no, it's really me, like, I love you. I was like, oh, is she, like, brainwashed too?
Right.
And then I was like, no, she's just a fucking twisted bitch. Kill her.
Yes. I wanted him to give her a speech, the main guy, to give her a speech like, do you know how fucked up this is? That they have brainwashed you into pimping yourself out like this? Like, I wanted him to just... give her a crying
hold a mirror.
speech about like I loved you and whatever, and it was more, she just goes, oh, you're one of my favorites. Like, it just got kind of like silly at the end.
It was very like robotic at that point. It was like,
Yeah.
who is she and why is she acting like this?
Yeah.
Anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
Yay.
I would go see it.
Yeah, I would
It
for
was good.
shizzle. Is that weird that I said for shizzle when we're talking about a black movie?
I mean, I think it's weird that you said for shizzle.
That's fair.